Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is vlog number 56 for February the 7th, 2018. And it's a special edition because I am vlogging from the city of Melbourne in Australia. Yes, we made it, and I think some of you have already seen the video that I put up showing you just our preliminary walk around the city and a few of the things that we've seen already. So this vlog is not going to be very long today because I don't have my usual segments here, and if it looks like I'm looking away from you, it's because of my setup. My camera part is over here, but I want to look over there, so I got to stop doing that and I got to look here. Also, sorry about the backdrop. You're seeing sort of the ceiling of the hotel room that we are staying in, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the hotel in a few minutes. I've got my coffee though. Walter's still in bed. It's 7:26 in the morning here in Melbourne, which means that it's 16 for my friends in Canada, in my area, in Ontario. We're 16 hours ahead, so we're time traveling. It's Wednesday. No, this is Tuesday. This Tuesday or is this Wednesday? I think this is Wednesday. No, this is Tuesday. My watch says it's... Oh, well, I don't know what day it is, but I'll figure that one out. Here, just a second. Let me check. I have all my notes on my cell phone. I brought a lot of technology with me, and yeah, right now, according to my clock, it is 3:27 in Toronto yesterday. So that's kind of interesting. It kind of plays with your brain if you think about it too much, and I'm trying not to think about it. Now I'm just trying to figure out what today is. Today is Tuesday, and the temperature, oh shoot, come back to me. Okay, well, I guess you can't really see, it's too much of a glare, but according to this right now currently is partly cloudy here in Melbourne, and it's 18 degrees C, but it's going up today to, according to this, to 31. So what we're finding here with the temperature, there's a big fluctuation between evening and during the day. It's yesterday I think it got up to in the 20s. So today is supposed to be even hotter, and it's showing here no rain, all sunny. And tomorrow's supposed to be sunny. Thursday's supposed to be 37 according to this. Sorry if I'm looking away at you again. I got to get to looking at this side. And Thursday, it's going to be 30, Friday 31, Saturday 29, Sunday 22, Monday 24. And we're here until Monday before we get the rented car and make our way towards Adelaide. So, and no rain in the forecast. Wonderful. As you can see, I did get some sun yesterday when we were walking around. My face is a little red. Got a little bit on my arms. My legs are what I really needed on. I've got old man legs. They're as pale can be. And I've got a frog in my throat. Oh, okay. So, anyways, the weather's been great. And we're still suffering a little bit from the effects of jet lag here. The flight, it was long. It was no events in it, which was good. A couple of crying kids at first, but they eventually knocked themselves out. And I had both my seat going, coming to Melbourne. Didn't have anybody in the middle seat, so that was nice. No big fat slob laying on top of me, drooling, using my shoulder as a pillow. And that's happened, believe me, on more than one occasion. What else about the flight? Food sucked, always does. In fact, at one point, I was glad I had something to eat before we got on to the part of the journey that went from Vancouver to Melbourne. We went to a restaurant at the airport there and had something to eat, and just as well because they served this choice between chicken and pasta. I had the pasta. That was a mistake, but Walter had the chicken, and according to him, that was also a mistake. The food is always a mistake. They gave us some kind of snack halfway through the flight. It was some sort of pocket, you know. I still don't know what was in it. The plane was dark because, of course, they were keeping the lights down so people could sleep if they wanted to. And I don't know what I was eating. And then the only thing I did have that wasn't too bad was the omelet in the morning. And it was okay. So anyways, but you know, you never expect great food on an airline. But yes, the flight went well. We got here and you know, things were fine at the airport, going through customs, no real problems there. The doggies came along and sniffed our carry-ons and things, looking for drugs. Aren't we all? They're very strict here in Australia about what you bring into the country. They have an ecosystem here that's very finely balanced, and they don't want to screw it up, and I don't blame them. One time in history, I think rabbits got introduced to this country because they weren't native, and they have a real problem with rabbits, I guess. I don't know if they still have the problem or not, but that, and I've heard frogs, I don't know. But anyways, because there's no natural predators for these things, they just keep multiplying. So anyways, they're very conscious about that kind of thing, about bringing in food, you know, whether you've been on a farm in the last 30 days, with the shoes that you have on, any diseases you may have had, the whole bit. Very, very strict about that kind of thing. But the flight was okay. So when we got here, we took a cab from the airport to basically, essentially what is the central district, downtown district of Melbourne, to our hotel. We didn't realize it, I think because we were still a little bit out of it after the flight. I mean, the flight was 16, or almost 16 hours from Vancouver to here, and we'd already had about a 5-hour flight from Toronto to Vancouver, plus a 3-hour wait over. So we basically were, traveling time was 24 hours to get here. So we were a little groggy, and Walter gave the guy the information about the address of the hotel, and he took us to that hotel, let us out. Was a very nice guy. I guess his brother is going to university in London, Ontario, and in robotics or something, and wants to basically live in Canada and get a job there. He himself was an immigrant to Australia from India, and he's had a lot of nice things to say about Canada. He had a lot of nice things to say about Australia as well. So that was good to hear. Wasn't good to hear how much it cost us, though, to take this taxi. I was expecting 40 bucks, probably 30 to 40 bucks. And that was just based on what it cost us to go when we were in Sydney, from the airport to downtown Sydney. Walter says it was a little further this time. I don't really remember the taxi ride the last time to Sydney. So when the guy said it was $67, I went, ew, okay. Well, it's neither here nor there. It was just, I guess, just the initial, okay, I've just put out $67 plus the tip. So over 70 bucks for this taxi ride. We get out of the taxi, say goodbye to the taxi driver, walk into the hotel, and we realize, or Walter realizes, we are not at the right hotel. It's the same name, it's the same chain, and it's on the same street, but we were at the far end of the street where we should have been down many, many more blocks to the one we were at. So, of course, we went back outside. Our cab driver had gone. So the receptionist at the hotel that we were stranded at was very nice. She called us another cab. The guy came, and we got down to where we're supposed to be. And that just cost us another 10 bucks for that. So if you're taking a taxi in Melbourne, they're expensive. I suppose taxis are expensive everywhere. I don't take a lot of taxis, you know, I have my own car, so I don't need a taxi. So I guess it's probably expensive everywhere. But anyways, we got to the hotel, and we got registered in, and we have this huge suite. It's an apartment. Basically, it is an apartment. I think they're called apartment hotels or something like that. We got it because it's an efficiency unit, meaning we have a full kitchen, full-size fridge, oven, stove, microwave, dishwasher. But the bonus part of all of this is that we have a washer-dryer combination. And that's one reason why we took this, or looked for these kind of hotels, because I don't want to carry a lot of clothes with me. And I have a habit of way overpacking. And I probably even overpacked for this trip, even though I cut way back. I think it's the first time when I weighed my suitcase that I wasn't right close to the weight allowance. But we have this washer dryer. So the idea is we packed clothes in our mind for 7 days because we're only away from a washer dryer for 5 days, and that's when we're traveling from Melbourne to Adelaide. So we packed for 7, got lots of stuff. Before we leave here, we'll do a wash and get it all ready to go, and that's it, it's done. This apartment, actually, we think it's a 3-bedroom. There are 2 doors that go into smaller rooms that are locked. We can't unlock them. So we're assuming those are, like, if you had a bigger number of people or something, you would pay for like a 3-bedroom or a 2-bedroom. We're paying for a 1-bedroom. The rooms are huge though, and you can see those in the video. And I've put the link, I hope, in below where I show you what the hotel looks like. It's in the one that says Melbourne Day 1. And there will be more videos. I'm going to try and post pretty much every day with some little short videos of what we're seeing on those particular days. But anyways, so we have a living room, a dining area, a kitchen area, bathroom of course, and the bedroom, the master bedroom, is very large as well. The only thing I can say about it, the decoration of it is kind of neutral, almost Spartan. There's a couple of cheap prints on the wall, kind of a deal, but really it's clean, it's efficient. You know, well, it's an efficiency unit. But, you know, if you came for the decor, don't bother. But then it's a hotel room, who cares, right? As long as it's clean, it's comfortable, I'm happy. But one thing I was a little perturbed at is, and I think I mentioned that in the Melbourne video, it does have a dishwasher, so it comes with plates and cups and glasses and all that kind of stuff, and cutlery and everything like that. Well, Walter pulled out a knife out of the drawer and it was dirty. And I also noticed on the bottom of one of the plates there was sort of a grease mark as well. Not a biggie, but it kind of makes you think, how's everything else? So I threw everything in the dishwasher. Well, it took me a while to figure out the dishwasher. It's not your state-of-the-art dishwasher, okay? Although it's better than the dishwasher we had last year in Sydney, I'll say that for it. But I had to fool around trying to get the plates. I took everything out of the cupboards and put them into the dishwasher to give them all a thorough cleaning. And it was kind of difficult to get the dinner plates in. I finally did figure out the racks are a different kind of configuration than I've ever seen before. But anyways, got them in, turned it on, and actually I did that at 2:20 in the morning of our first night. Because of the jet lag, I woke up and I thought, well, might as well do dishes. So I did, and then I went back to bed, but I didn't realize that I had set it for just rinsing glasses. So of course, no soap went through it, nothing, it was just all wet. I did look at it more carefully. I went online to look for a manual for this particular dishwasher to see if that would help out. But I think I have it figured out now, where things have to be. So I've used it again since successfully. But it's a cheap dishwasher, okay? But again, it's a hotel. It's not home. So what do you expect? Anyways, we'll manage. You know, first world country problems here. So let's see. What else about the hotel? Well, the receptionist is very nice. And when we got here, she was telling us all about, there was some, I guess they have it once a year. Some of the rooms are filled with shoes. Now, girls, you would have gone nuts for this because there were about 3 or 4 different rooms. 2 of them on our floor were surrounded by these shoes. And I guess it's open to the general public, but I think a lot of buyers come to and look at them and place orders for their stores or things like that. So according to what the hotel receptionist told us, we didn't really go in and take a look. We saw it from the door, but I wasn't really interested in buying any shoes, okay? I don't need any more heels. Got enough. But that's kind of interesting. She was real excited about it, though. Down there, she talked about it. Well, I guess it's shoes. And I don't get it, you know, but I guess for women, shoes are important. I have 3 pairs of shoes. They're all black. Okay. I have my boat shoes. I have my dress shoes. And that's it. And they're all black. And of course, on this trip, I brought shoes with me, of course, but I'm wearing sandals. And because it's summer, so why not? So let's see, what else? Okay, so the first night, well, we got here, by the time we got checked into the hotel and that, it was just around 11:30 in the morning. And we didn't know whether or not our room would be ready, because really official check-in time is 2 o'clock. But yep, the girl says, yeah, room's all ready. So that was a bonus. Came up in the room, got things unpacked, settled in there, and then off we went. And we were pretty tired. So we knew we weren't going to spend a lot of time walking around Melbourne. So we're not very far. We're about a block and a half from something they call Federation Square, which is a big complex of restaurants and stores and that kind of thing. So we went there, and we were hungry. So we decided we'll have lunch and, you know, pick up a few things. Excuse me, frog. Pick up a few things for, you know, maybe later on, and you know, get some booze as well, some beer, some wine, and that kind of thing. And Walter had already scouted out on the internet where the closest outlets were for that kind of thing. They're called bottle shops. And so we knew where to go. He'd also scouted out that right next to our hotel is an IGA, a little independent convenience style grocery store, a little bigger than a convenience store. And where the Woolies is, the closest to it, Woolies is actually the name the Aussies call Woolworths. And Woolworths, we used to have Woolworths in Canada many years ago. It wasn't a grocery store, it was a department store, but they're long gone. They've been long gone. I was a kid when they probably went out of business. Well, young adult. I remember them as a child, though, shopping them, but that's not what these are. These are food stores, and some of them actually sell liquor, and actually the one that we went to, which isn't far from our hotel, they also sold beer and wine as well. Expensive. Well, everything here is about the same price as it is at home if you're in a big city in a tourist area, okay? And our money is pretty much par to the Aussie dollar, which is kind of a good thing, because, you know, you don't have to do any of this conversion in your head kind of a deal. You just, okay, that's what it is. So we went in there and they had some sales on. We got a 2-liter box of wine for 12 bucks, and it's actually drinkable, believe it or not. We've been drinking it, so that was okay. For 12 bucks for 2 liters, that's a good price. But other wines and things like that were there, they were astronomical, and they had weird signs on them for their kinds of sales, like buy 6 and you'll get each of them at like beer. If you bought 6 cans of a certain brand of beer, it worked out to like $4.85 or something a can or something like that. But if you bought it, like didn't buy 6, then each can cost you about $2 more than that or something like that. And the same with wine. Some of it is, you know, buy 6 bottles of wine at this price and you're saving this kind of money. So I don't know, are Aussies heavy drinkers? I don't think so. I don't think they're any more heavier drinker than Canadians or anybody else. But anyways, so we were looking around. It was a bit of a sticker shock. But again, when you really think about it, it isn't probably any more than what we would pay in our own country. So I don't know, I guess it's just, you know, you're away on holidays, you do have a bit of a budget. So you're trying to be, you know, somewhat thrifty at times, although we're not nickel and diming this trip because we knew this trip was going to cost us big bucks. So we prepared for it. But nevertheless, you know, you want to get as much as you can for your money. So anyways, we did find a place in, what's it called, Federation Square. It was called Beer Deluxe. It had a lot of craft beers in it, and it had, you know, pizza and burgers, that kind of thing. So now we're really bad at picking places to eat when we're on a trip. We usually pick the most touristy, most expensive, and the worst place you can find every time we get sucked in. And we just were too tired to bother looking too far for anything. We looked at the prices and thought, it's a little steep, but the hell with it. So we went in, and you're never sure whether or not you're going to get table service or you have to order at the bar, and that includes ordering your food. And this is done in Australia a lot. And what they do is you place your order at the bar area, your food, your drinks, and you pay for it all there. And then they give you a number and you put it on your table, and when it's ready, they come bring it out to you. So I said to the guy, feeling like a complete nitwick, you know, okay, I said, we're kind of new here. You know, how does this work? Is it, you know, do we order the stuff here, or is it at the tables? I said, we've been to Sydney a year ago, and that's where how a lot of places work. And he says, yeah, that's how it works here too. And he says, where are you from? We told him Canada. It turned out he was from California originally, but he's been living in Australia for 9 years. And he was very nice. He let us sample some of the beers that they had. They were all beers we'd never heard of, but it was craft beers, very fancy. And then he showed us the different sizes. And they have one that was a pint, and we're used to pints. But then they have a schooner, which is, I think, a half pint. They call it a schooner. And then they have something called a pot. And a pot looks basically like a wine glass. Actually, one of those wine glasses, if I can do it with my fingers, you know, that curve down, look kind of pear-shaped, tulip-shaped kind of a thing. And that's the smallest, and that's called a pot. Now, we had seen signs where they were having special wings in a pot or something, or pot pie in a pot or something, combo price. But anyways, we tried these beers. We picked one. Well, one of the beers was $18 for a pint. We didn't get that one. We got another one, which was $14.50 a pint. So 2 beers, 2 pints of beer, were $29. That's pricey. That is pricey, even by our standards in Canada. But anyways, the hell with it. We're thirsty, we want it, we got it. And then we looked at the menu, and we got a couple of personal pizzas. Now, they weren't particularly cheap. So for 2 pizzas, personal pizzas, and what we often do is we'll get 2 different types and, you know, share back and forth, you know, so we got 2 types of pizza. We're $45. Don't know if that's really out of the way. It might be a few bucks more. But like I said, we were in a very touristy, upscale kind of pubish restaurant. So anyways, so $29 for beer, $45 for pizza. Now, one advantage though is when you see the price over here, it includes everything. It includes the tax. So you don't have to sit there and go, oh, yeah, it was $29 plus tax. It wasn't. It was $29. And the other thing too is, and because we pay for most of the stuff, we don't use cash, we use our charge card, and they've, you know, they're just like us in Canada, you know, everything is done by card and you just tap your card or whatever. But out of force of habit, when I'm in Canada, I look for the button on the machine for the tip. They don't have one. And then I remembered, you don't tip in Australia. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. They don't expect it here. Now, I was told the reason being was because the minimum wage is fairly good. I don't know, I think I heard at one point it was something like about $18 an hour. So, you know, in the restaurant business, usually people who wait on you are not paid all that well, and they do depend upon the tips to supplement what they're getting. But here, I guess that's not the same situation, which is maybe something Canada should adopt too. Now, we just raised the minimum wage from $11.40 an hour to $14 an hour, and it's supposed to go up again in about 6 months or next year to $15 an hour. But they'll still be tipping, believe me. And maybe that's why prices are high too, is because their minimum wage is so much higher. I don't know. It's affected us in Canada since January the 1st. Prices have gone up on food in restaurants and things like that, because to compensate, you know, the owners of these places are compensating for the government legislated increase in the minimum wage. It's a vicious circle. But anyways, so we had the pizza. The pizzas were good. They were really good. They were thin crust, a lot of cheese on them, and actually they were excellent. They really were. Didn't really realize how hungry we were because they were fairly large as well for personal pizzas. And I said, well, you know, what we don't eat, we'll just get, you know, in a takeaway container and take it back to the hotel. And, you know, we've got the microwave, we've got the fridge, no big deal. No, we ate it. We ate it all. So we were a little bit more hungry than we thought. So then we got a few essential things that we wanted to buy and came back to the hotel room, had a little wine and watched TV, and by about 7:30, well, I was already falling asleep on the couch, we went to bed. So that was our first day in Melbourne. And I've already talked about the next day, getting up and washing dishes at 2:20 in the morning and the whole bit. And right now, I still feel a little disoriented. Not as bad as yesterday, better today. But I woke up at about 4 o'clock this morning, and I did fall back to sleep a bit, but I'm still, my system is, it's going to take a few days for my system to get, you know, caught up to what's happening here. So, next day, we got up, we did breakfast here in the room, and we had just bought a loaf of raisin bread and some peanut butter and some jam and some cheese, and just had that, and they supply coffee. Now, they don't have a coffee maker in here, and I'm spoiled, as you know. We have 3 coffee makers at home. We could open up our own, be our own baristas, kind of a thing. They have instant coffee. They have a tea kettle, so I made it. But actually, as instant coffee goes, and I haven't had instant coffee in years, this isn't too bad. But it's still instant. But anyways, so then off we went to explore. Now, our idea yesterday was just to walk all over the city, see what we see. We weren't really getting into like going into the shops, going into museums and things like that. We just wanted to get an overview of the city, and we did. And I can tell you, Melbourne is a beautiful city. It is very, very clean, very modern, great infrastructure as far as the way it's laid out and the whole bit. They have a trolley system. We haven't taken that yet. It looks like they're building a subway system. I don't know if they have a partial one or not right now. I don't think they do, but I'm not really sure about that. And, you know, you can get anywhere on that trolley system. And you can buy a card like for a day or for whatever week that you load up and use on that. And they even have a free trolley in the central part of the city that you can take. It looks like the free trolleys are older style, antique-like trolleys, which are kind of cute. And you can take those within a certain radius of the city to get around. Now, like I said, we haven't done this yet. We probably will at some point, but we just went out and walked. One thing I'll say about Melbourne, there is no shortage of places to eat. Whereas Sydney, I really like Sydney, but you know, I can see why Melbourne has been voted 6 times or 7 times in a row by, I don't know, some big magazine or something as the most livable city in the world, because it is. I'm telling you, I'd live here. It is that nice. But so we walked around and we ended up down in an area called the Docklands, which is sort of like that's where all the really nice condos are, which I'm sure cost a lot of money to live there. And they have shops and restaurants and entertainment, and people have their huge, huge boats berthed there as well. So we went there, we had lunch, and Okay, so here's my what's pissing me off this week. And it has nothing to do with Melbourne. It has everything to do with the restaurant industry. You know, you get a menu in a restaurant and you start reading it, and they have these descriptions of something, and they're very elaborate, and you're trying to figure out, what is this really? They can make a plain old hamburger sound like you're getting some kind of gourmet meal. Well, I really felt like having a salad, and I like Caesar salad, who doesn't? And I thought I'd have that, and I'd get chicken on it as well. So a chicken Caesar salad. But I'm reading the description, and they said the salad had this in it, this in it, and this in it, topped with white anchovies in a creamy sauce or something like that. Now, the way it read, I didn't know if they meant that Caesar salad dressing had the anchovies in it. Caesar salad dressing, true Caesar salad dressing, does have anchovies in it, and that's fine. I don't like fish. I don't like anchovies. But in a Caesar salad dressing, it's kind of a must in most cases, I find, if you're having a true Caesar salad. But what I'm afraid of is if it tastes like the anchovies are in it, then that puts me off. Like, you know, it's very strong, overpowering fish taste to it. So I asked the waitress if the Caesar salad had anchovies, actual anchovy fillets, on top of it, because that's what it was being suggested in the way that I was reading the menu. And if so, I wanted the Caesar salad with chicken, but please no anchovies. Now she said to me, "Oh, are you allergic?" Well, no, I'm not, but I didn't want to get into a big explanation like I just gave you. So I said, "Yes, I am." So she came back a few minutes later and she says, "No, the anchovies are actually in the dressing." Now, my first reaction was, well, yeah, that's fine, because that's the way it usually is. But then I got thinking, you know, Melbourne has a lot of seafood and things like that. So maybe to them, that would be, you know, they'd put a lot more of that in. So I just didn't want to take the chance. So I said, no, I won't bother. And I got the same thing Walter did, which was the crispy chicken burger, which actually wasn't too bad. Basically, it was a chicken breast that had been lightly deep fried. And actually, it was okay. It didn't have a lot of taste to it, but at least it wasn't really dried out or anything like that. So anyways, but restaurants put in these menus these book descriptions that make you think you're getting something really, really special. And all it is something you've probably had 1,000 times before. And yeah, I guess they want it to sound like appetizing, so you're going to buy it and the whole thing. But, you know, why can't we call a salad, a burger a burger? Cheeseburger. Meat, cheese. Got it. Okay, some condiments on the side. Salad. Lettuce. Romaine. Maybe a tomato. I don't know. But no, it's always something very grandiose. But anyways, it was kind of a nice place where we ate. It looked right out into the to the dockings area, the water, the whole bit. So very, very pleasant. From there, we walked back downtown, and we came upon something called the Victoria Market. And I guess this is kind of a big market where they sell all kinds of things. Like, a lot of it is produce and things like that, like a farmer's market, but I imagine they have other things. Now, I say imagine because it wasn't open when we got there. I think it's something that opens later in the week and into the weekend. I think it's a big thing then. So we'll probably go back when it is open and check it out, because it looked huge for one thing. And if you're from my area, we have something similar called in Toronto called the St. Lawrence Market. And I have a feeling this is what this might be like, the same idea. So we'll see. We'll check that out. Let's see, what else did we do? I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, they have something like, it's like the Eye in Britain, you know, the big Ferris wheel kind of thing, the sightseeing with this, you know, the capsules that go around, and they have one here too. It's called the Star. So we went on that. It takes about half an hour to go all the way around, but you get spectacular views of the city. and the surrounding area. And that's in the little video that I posted as well, so you'll see that there. And what else did we do? We just walked and got a feel for the city. And we checked out where we have to pick up our rental car, which is like within a couple of blocks of the hotel, so we can walk there, you know, no problem when we have to get that. And we checked out where we have to, where we meet the trolley that we're going to go on. It's a restaurant. We booked this way in advance, and it's like they have 2 different sitting times, and you're on this old trolley, and I guess you go around the city as you're having dinner. And so I'm looking kind of forward to that, and we saw where we have to pick that up, and so we know where we're going. And let's see. Yeah, so we stopped, we had this large lunch, and this is what we do now when we travel too. We often eat a late lunch, fairly large one, and then at night we'll just come back to the hotel room, since a lot of times we get these efficiency units, and just you know, make our own kind of a thing. So we went in and we decided we'd just get some salad and a sandwich kind of a deal. Well, the little store we went in that's next to the hotel, they didn't have much to choose from in sandwiches, so we just got some, you know, sliced ham, a loaf of bread, some mustard, and we already had cheese, and one of those salad kits to make up like a Caesar salad, and we were going to have that. Yeah, it's still sitting in the fridge. We weren't really hungry. We had a few glasses of wine and watched some Aussie TV. They've got some really weird reality shows on there. Like there's one we were watching where people are matched up with somebody else to marry them, sight unseen, kind of like arranged weddings and stuff. It's actually kind of funny. And there were some other weird reality type television shows on there. I think I started to fall asleep, and so I don't know what time it was we went to bed, but it wasn't very late, that's for sure. And so now I'm up, so yeah, I'm trying to catch up on things like that. All right, so we did upgrade the internet. Now this hotel has free Wi-Fi. You get it for 24 hours, well, for your stay. So every day of your stay, it renews itself. It's free, but it's slow. It's 1 megabyte per second, and it has a limit on how much you can use. And that's just not good enough for me, as you know, because you wouldn't be able to see this if we had not upgraded the internet, or the clip I put on about Melbourne. So we did upgrade, but actually that was fairly reasonable. It's unlimited, it's 10 megabytes per second, and for a week, and we're staying here for a week, it's only $34.95. Well, I don't think that's bad at all, price-wise. And it is, it's very efficient, to the point where we can actually watch Netflix if we want to. It streams fine, not a problem. In fact, I did a little experiment. We have something, for those of you that aren't in our country, one of our telephone providers, television providers, you know, service providers, internet providers, is Bell, and that's what we're on. And we have, our TV is internet TV, basically, through them. And you're supposedly able to get it wherever you have a Wi-Fi connection, if you're in Canada. I tried it here, it did connect, but then it said these programs aren't available outside of the country. So, not a big deal. I mean, I didn't come on this vacation to watch a lot of television. I was just experimenting to see, you know, what I could do with the internet connection we have. And so right now, the price is reasonable and the connection's great. So I can't complain about that. However, one thing, we may try to do a live show. I'm not sure what day we will do that. Probably towards the end of the week. See, the problem is, it's not a problem for those of you that are here in Australia, because whenever we do it is regular time for you. But for people back home, it is going to be 16 hours difference. Well, or more, depending on what part of the States or Canada you're living in. So what I'm thinking right now is we might do it on the weekend at some point. If we do it at night here, It might, depending what time we do it, I have to sit down and figure this out. It might appear the day before our day, okay, in the early afternoon. I don't know, got to work that out. So whatever, if we do one anyways, you can always catch it on the rebroadcast. So we'll see what we can do. I did bring my microphone with me, and I'm going to look on the internet and see if there's such a thing as a Bluetooth wireless, you know, lapel microphone. And what I'm thinking about, there is a Apple store here, and I've never looked into this before, so I'm just talking off the top of my head. And Walter will probably tell me that I'm crazy. But I thought of going into that store, it's not too far from where we are here, and seeing if they have such a thing for, you know, iPads and to work with the iPhone. Because the one thing when I do videos, when we're out and about, is the sound. The phone does a really good job of video. That whole Melbourne thing that I put on was all done on the iPhone 10. But it's the sound. The microphone isn't as good, especially when you're out and about and there's a lot of other noise. So I'm thinking if there's a Bluetooth microphone that I can clip onto me, like I clip this one here onto me, and when I'm out and I'm videoing anything that we're seeing, the sound would be much better. I don't know. It's a theory in my head, no idea. Plus, I have no idea if something like that does exist, which I'm sure there is something that exists. It's probably very, very expensive too. So anyways, we'll see. You know me and technology. So yeah, so we, you know, you're not going to know exactly when we're going to do a live, so it'll be hit and miss if we do one. And my next vlog, in a week's time, there may be one, there may not be one, because again, at that point, we will probably not be here unless I do it on the Monday. We'll see, which is my usual time to do my vlogs. But if we're not here, we're on the road to Adelaide, there's a very good possibility that we will not have an internet connection that will be able to handle something like this. So we'll see. But there will be another vlog or two sometime along the way, probably once we get to Adelaide, and probably to Perth, and then of course in Sydney again. So I'm trying to keep my vlogs while we're away, one a week, as I would normally do when we're at home. We'll see. Okay, so tomorrow night, we're doing the trolley dinner, which I already talked about, and then on Thursday we're going off to see the fairy penguins. I'm not absolutely sure where that is. These are trips that are a trip that we've already booked and everything in advance to go and see these. So that'll be interesting. And on Saturday night, we're going to meet up for, I guess it's either drinks or dinner or both, with a lady and her husband. This lady is someone that we had met and sort of hung around with on one of our previous trips many years ago, way back, like maybe 20 years ago. I don't know if it's that long ago or not. I think it was one of our European ones. To be honest, I don't remember who this lady was, but she's on Walter's Facebook, and he has talked to her back and forth. And so he contacted her to let her know that we were here. She lives in Melbourne, and we had talked before about getting together. And so we've made the arrangements, and we're getting together at a place that's not far. It's in Federation Square, and not far from us. And so we'll see. It'll be interesting. But to be honest, I do not remember this lady at all. Maybe it'll come back to me when I meet up with her. Of course, Walter remembers, because Walter remembers everything. Sometimes I worry about my memory, but oh well. I always figure if I don't remember it, it couldn't have been that important, I guess. Okay, so anyways, that's it. Bottom line of all of this is that I absolutely love Melbourne. I think, from what I've seen of it so far, I like it better than Sydney. And I love Sydney. I just think that Melbourne is just it's just a nicer place to come and visit. The choices you have in food, in entertainment, I think, are better than in Sydney. But maybe when we were in Sydney, we sort of limit where we were traveling around. Maybe when we go back this time, we'll have more time there, and maybe we'll see other things that we didn't see before. But I absolutely love Melbourne and highly recommend Melbourne. If you're ever coming to Australia, make a point of coming to Melbourne. So anyways, I guess we'll see some more of the city today and do some other things, and there's lots to be done and lots of walking involved, which is good. And I'll talk to you sometime in the next week or so. And in the meantime, I will continue to post, maybe not daily, but every other day or something like that, some more video of what we're seeing here. So have a great week. And this is me from the future, because it's Tuesday here, it's Monday for those of you in Canada. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.